My name is Daryl Rogers. I am the family recovery coach. I work with the parents of children who are addicted to drugs or alcohol, and I'm here to help you get your hope back. Today's topic is worry. And as the parents of children who are addicted to drugs or alcohol, we all know what it means to have chronic worry. To be worried about your child all the time. You cannot seem to get them out of your mind. You have butterflies in the pit of your stomach that seem to never go away. If the phone rings late at night, the first thought that pops into your head is it the police calling? What would they be calling about? There's a couple of different things it could be, and none of it's good. You're worried about where are they, who are they with, what are they doing, and you know that probably whatever it is they're doing and whoever they're with, wherever they are, that probably none of that is good. So I really get the worry. I've been there. I know what that's like. And I want to help you with that because it's not something that we're going to be able to just cure overnight. There's no cure for this chronic worry. They're your child and they're part of you and they're in your heart, and it's natural for a parent who has a child who's addicted to drugs or alcohol to be worried. But what we can do is we can manage your worry. We can help get that worry under control a little bit by exerting some effort, by trying a few things and continuing to work on it over time. So the first step I would say would be to start praying. I spend time each morning. I have a little bit of a quiet time each morning, and during that quiet time I pray. Prayer and a connection to God is a very important piece of helping to calm your fears. And is a very important piece of being able to calm your fears and worries. There's a lot of good scripture verses about worry that you can read. If you get the Bible app called YouVersion, you can go in YouVersion and you can search any keyword and you can find all the scriptures. So you can search worry, and I know there's a lot of other apps and online resources that you can use for this, but you can search the word worry and you'll find all these scripture verses that talk about worry. You might not like some of them because some of them might be just kind of blunt, but there are some good scripture verses that will help you. Number two is find a therapist. Find a good therapist. So if you're looking for a therapist, you can go to psychologytoday.com and you can put in different filters. You can put in geographical filters that will help you narrow it down to a geographical location if that's important to you. I mean, there are a lot of therapists now who are online, as you can just do a Zoom call with them. But if you want to go in person and see one in person, you may want one that's closer to you. So you can use a geographical filter. You can filter them by what insurance they take, what their specialties are. You're obviously going to want to look for one who deals with addiction. And so a lot of different filters you can put in to narrow it down to just a handful, and then you can read their bios and you can pick one that you think would be the best for you. That's a good place to start. You may not get a perfect fit the first time. You may have to try a couple of different times, or you may, but it's a great place to start. You can also go off of referrals from friends if you have any friends who are struggling with the same issue, which leads me to another point, which is join a peer support group. I like PAL, Parents of Addicted Loved Ones. It's a great peer support group for parents who have an addicted child. And the thing is that you will find other parents in the group who have been at this for a while, who have a lot of experience, and they may be able to give you a referral to a therapist that will be helpful, or they may be able to tell you, no, I wouldn't go to this one if I were you. They're a wealth of information, so join a peer support group. But find a therapist and start out with psychologytoday.com. So number 3 is self-care, and I mentioned this, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier when I was talking about prayer and reading scripture, but self-care, it covers a lot of things. It's not what a lot of people think of it as. Initially, the first thought that just pops into people's head is like, oh, I'm going to go spend a lot of money on myself on this big shopping spree and buy all these fancy clothes, or I'm going to go buy a new car, I'm going to do all these things. No, if you go spend all that money, that's just going to bring more stress on you, because now you're going to have financial troubles that you didn't have before. Self-care is about taking care of your mental health. And it sounds a little bit selfish, right? Because we're talking about self-care, but it's not. I want you to think of it like if you were a passenger on an airliner and you're flying at 35,000 feet and all of a sudden the oxygen mask drop. What do they tell you to do? You put your oxygen mask on first. If you have a child or someone who's next to you who's not as capable of you of knowing what to do and handling the situation, or maybe they're disabled or whatever, you put your oxygen mask on first, because what happens is that without that oxygen and with a rapid depressurization of the cabin, then you can black out really quickly from lack of oxygen. And then you can, not only are you incapacitated and it's affecting you, but it's also affecting the person next to you, because you can't help them when you're in that incapacitated state. So it's important for you to put your oxygen mask on first. The same is true with self-care. You can't really be of assistance to anyone else in this situation if you're struggling with your own mental health. So what self-care means is, just some examples. I do a morning routine, and the morning routine is called The Miracle Morning. Hal Elrod, I would look it up if I were you. He has the book out there, The Miracle Morning, but he's got a whole Facebook group and a whole community built around this idea of the miracle morning, which is getting up early and just doing a few basic things that involve silence, which is your time for meditation, reading some positive affirmations, doing some vision work, visioning, exercise. Exercise is very important when it comes to healthcare, because it helps release endorphins and other neurochemicals that will help you feel better. So I really highly suggest exercise on a daily basis. If you just get 20 to 30 minutes of exercise, is better than nothing. And even if you're only going 3 days a week, it's better than nothing. But get into a consistent habit of exercise for whatever that means for you and your lifestyle. For some of us, it may just be taking a 1 mile walk around the block. For other people, maybe they're a little more advanced when it comes to exercise, and they're lifting weights and doing other things like that. But you do need to do the exercise as part of your self-care. Then there's rest. You need adequate rest. That means you have to take some time off and spend some time just alone, or with your spouse or significant other, where you're away from your child who's struggling with these problems, so you can just get a little mental break. The other thing I would mention here is journaling. A lot of people journal and find that helpful. It doesn't work for everyone, and there's different ways to do it. You can open up a Word document and type in there. I like to do that. I've gotten where I do that a lot more now than I do. There's some benefit to physically writing, but that habit is gone for me now. And when I say it's gone, I can still do it, and I do from time to time, but it's a lot more work for me to write than it is to type it out in a Word doc. So journaling can be helpful because it allows you to, obviously you've got to find a way to keep that private. You don't want your journal out there, but you don't have to put things that are really sensitive and private in there. But it is a way to get your thoughts out, and it doesn't Sometimes we can say things in a journal that you might not want to say to other people because it could, but you need to get it out. And then again, that's what a therapist is for as well. One of the things that I didn't mention when I was talking about self-care is hobbies. Hobbies are very beneficial. Scientists have found that particularly a hobby that involves the use of your hands, like knitting or fly tying or painting or adult coloring books, whatever it happens to be, something that uses your hands. Now, I'm not saying that you can't find a different hobby that doesn't involve the use of your hands and in creating something. There are other great hobbies that could be part of your self-care routine that would work for you. I'm just saying that scientists have found that this is a good way to go in terms of hobbies, because it does, particularly when you use your hands, does release a cocktail of positive neurochemicals into your brain. So it helps you feel better, reduces stress. All of this is important. So that covers self-care. And the fourth thing I'm going to talk about here is something I call worry time. I didn't come up with this. I did read this somewhere. But what worry time is that you allocate a certain time of day every day to worry. And so it would be something like 15 minutes a day, maybe 20 minutes max. And this doesn't work for everyone. It's something to try if you're really struggling with worry. But here are the rules. There are some rules for this. Number one is you don't do it right before you go to bed, because if you do it right before bedtime, that's going to carry over and disrupt your sleep. If you do it in the morning and you have a job or you run a business, that's going to carry over into your work and it's going to disrupt your work. So a good time to do this is right when you come home from work and you're relaxing a little bit. You just take 15 to 20 minutes and you just think about all the things that you're going to worry about. And you cut it off at that time. And when a worry thought comes up at any other part of the day, you just say to yourself, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to put that off until my worry time, and I will think about it then, but I'm not going to allocate any mental resources towards that item of worry right now, because it's going to distract me from what I need to get done, and it's going to create additional stress in my life that I don't need. So worry time is another one. So that's it for my video on worry today and how to begin getting your worry under control. My name is Daryl Rogers. I am the Family Recovery Coach. I work with the parents of children who are addicted to drugs or alcohol, and I'm here to help you get your hope back.